Excellent. Okay, thank you very much for being here this morning. I hope you're all well fueled on coffee and croissants and ready for our panel. So, streaming 2.0, as Vijaya said. We know MENA is a growing and dynamic market, and there's a large addressable customer base. Omdia's 2025 forecast shows SVOD subscriptions topping 27 million in MENA. And the streaming market's expected to earn 1.5 billion by the end of this year. Just how many untapped customers are there, and how many do you need to be a digital powerhouse? These are some of the questions that I will ask my panelists. Some recent research reports highlight global subscription fatigue, consumer resistance to price rises, and slowing growth in some markets. Yet many industry reports state there's a huge growth potential in MENA. On this panel, we have both platform architects, advertising specialists, and streaming business leaders, those that support cloud-native scalable platforms, and those creating and monetizing the content that sit on top of them. I'd love for us to explore how these two sides of the ecosystem connect and what's next in streaming 2.0. So, very warm welcome to all five of you. Please introduce yourselves and describe in just a few words how you define a digital powerhouse and what success looks like for you and your business. So, Sama, do you want to? We'll go this way first.
Yes, no? Okay. Good morning. Thank you, Tracy, for this introduction. I'm Samer Majzoub. I'm the General Manager for View Middle East and North Africa. Regarding your question of defining powerhouse or digital powerhouse, that's a good, of course, question. I think we might have powerhouses here on the panel. So basically, for us, it's about having a long-term. So a powerhouse is not an ad hoc. You don't create a powerhouse in 1 or 2 years. It's about having a relationship with your meaningful relationship with your audience or target segment, and built on a very scalable or I would say meaningful long-term value. So it's about creating value in the market to your audience, to your target segment. It's about building long-term relations that requires you to be very agile, very transformative. We're talking about streaming 2.0. So we're in the middle of a transformative period where we see a lot of disruption happening. So a powerhouse needs to be agile, disruptive, proactively disruptive, and changing. This is how I see it. Otherwise, you wouldn't survive, and you're not a powerhouse for sure.
Thanks, Sama. Nisreen?
Yes, hi, I'm Nisreen. I'm the VP of Digital for RMS. It's the monetization arm or the commercial arm of Rotana Holding. What I did 2 years ago was launch a premium video marketplace where I allow publishers of various strengths and various powerhouses within themselves to onboard onto this marketplace. And what we do is we help them monetize their inventory. And the whole objective behind that is what we've noticed is a lot of the broadcasters don't have the resources or the know-how or even the scale to be able to compete in the digital world today. They've been used to being analog for the longest time, and moving into investments on the digital side to capture the digital ad expenditure is very daunting. So we take that away from them, that whole uncertainty of how things need to be done, whether it's by providing them with resources or the ad technology or even doing the ad sales ourselves. So that's what we've created. It's different from the remaining powerhouses here on the panel. We look at a marketplace as a whole where we onboard various publishers.
Supporting those powerhouses. Jim.
Hiya, I'm Jim Hall, Senior Principal Sales Engineer, Enterprise Architect for EMEA. I'm with Fastly. And for us, a powerhouse is someone who can scale efficiently, securely, cost effectively. Those are things that a lot of our streaming customers are able to do, and what helps define them as, I would consider as powerhouses. They are leveraging the latest and greatest intelligently, not just because it's the latest and greatest, but because it actually helps them achieve their goals of cost efficiency whilst maintaining scalability, even at peak utilization periods.
Yeah, good morning. James from Todd. We're part of the beIN Media Group. I think beIN has long established itself within the satellite world as a powerhouse, also in the production world from our studios and the production we run around live sports, both in this region and worldwide. Todd being, I guess, the newest arm of that, and wanting to sort of live up and take that a bit further. We're looking at taking that quality of production and the brand that comes with that, and really pushing it forward through sort of new product experiences, more meaningful engagements with customers that we can do through our apps and connected services, making sure they come back time and time. We talked about scale a lot. Obviously, that is inherently harder with our platform, so being able to maintain that in quite a challenging region that we work in, whether that's the applications and the languages and the experiences and the way we communicate with customers, or the quality of service we provide to our streams. If we can live up to that in the same way that beIN's created in the satellite world, I think we'd gain that name.
Hello, I'm Ahmed. I'm part of the Shahid team. I lead on the B2C business. I'm part of MBC Group. I think from a definition point of view, I think a powerhouse is an organization that is able to work across different generations and keeping the momentum, disrupting markets, changing how people perceive media. I think MBC managed to do that. It's a 30-year-old company and managed to disrupt media in different occasions. And now, for the past 15 years, Shahid has been playing the role to disrupt the markets as well in the same space. I think to be able to do that, you need to have the experience, the know-how, the ability to penetrate markets and disrupt them and change them. And I think Shahid is on the trajectory of being the de facto platform for this market, actually, and when it comes to streaming, like MBC used to be for satellite for many years.
Thank you. Okay, so let's move into talking about those monetization models. How to scale your platforms. Is it SVOD, AVOD, or bundled propositions the best way to go? Should everyone be collaborating and integrating with each other to offer a one-stop streaming service? Sama, how do you scale your service? Is a hybrid model working for you?
Yes. So basically, let me give you some background about View, who we are, how we started, and our model. We started in Southeast Asia in 2015. Our proposition was mainly built about hybrid or a dual stream model, AVOD and SVOD. And we've built all our proposition, content proposition accordingly to support our hybrid monetization model. We moved to the Middle East in 2018, and we actually brought the monetization model to this part of the world. And this actually was this is how the journey started, and this is where we supported to give access to a big. We were able to acquire a lot of users on our freemium model. To this, we've built a content proposition that has three main pillars. Okay, Korean. So we, thanks to our very strong relations with the Korean studios in Southeast Asia, We had a lot. We brought and we localized the Korean content, and this is our actually one of our stronghold and unique selling proposition, I would say, in this part of the world. We have Turkish as well as Arabic, so we do. Of course, we have originals as well as we acquire Arabic library as well as Turkish co-production as well as originals. So for this, we also have a demarcation between AVOD and SVOD that is helping us in really acquiring users. So we acquire on the free layer, and then we convert. And this has worked very well for us. AVOD is part of our journey, is a part of the whole funnel when acquiring a user, as well as from acquisition to retention. So this has been the journey so far. Of course, I mean this model is this is on the B2C side. For us as well, we aim to grow our monetization over the long term to have a positive year-on-year growth. So we do a lot of partnership in the market in terms of that's core to our strategy. Of course, beyond the telco partnerships that we do, I'm sure that a lot of OTTs present in the market really as well prioritized the partnership. We have already more than 20 telcos, and we grew them. We had a big growth in the last 2 years on this front. So yeah, basically the model is working. We will continue building on this model further. In our content proposition as well, demarcation is reflecting this model, where we have content that is supporting this whole journey, and we have been growing in the past 2-3 years. I would say double digit, thanks to this model. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Ahmed, how do you see the monetization mix kind of evolving in the next few years, especially as competition intensifies? What's your position between AVOD and SVOD?
I mean, we started as an AVOD service, right? Because we come at the back of a big broadcaster. I think people need to look at the history of this region. So when you start here, this was never a pay TV market, right? It was very niche for many years, right? So the mass audiences were always on free-to-air TV. And then it only made sense to launch a free-to-air service at that point. But as we grew into the markets and we started seeing the willingness to pay, we had to break certain notions like willingness to pay for Arabic content, because it did not exist at that point. So you need to elevate a lot of how you like the content and how you create it. So we were able to launch successfully an SVOD service. I think the relationship with them is super important as 2 tiers, because still this market is not advanced across all regions. We have big populations that are not, that we still have payment infrastructure issues. We still have a lot of issues around willingness to pay, their interests, and so on and so forth. So generally speaking, we see that both will still grow. So still there's untapped market in the SVOD market in this region. And we still believe that AVOD is yet to grow a lot in this market. I think just the services are finding, and what we see from the market is they're finding difficulty in balancing both as 2 tiers, because some people are trying to play with like ad-supported tiers, or like trying to launch AVOD services with library content, for example. So I think if you want to be successful in both, you have to take them both seriously, and in terms of investment and proposition. You need to know how to differentiate the proposition to the audiences to be able to grow both. Otherwise, one will cannibalize the other, which typically happens, but you need to manage what's the level of cannibalization. And that's, I think, where platforms can be more successful.
And James, it would be great to get your view on how viewer behaviors in the Middle East are shaping the balance between AVOD and SVOD. Is freemium a way to accelerate growth?
So we're coming from probably the opposite end of the spectrum to NBC being a premium pay TV provider, moving in potentially to more advertising supported channels. So I agree with everything Ahmed said. There is definitely a a high demand for at least some free content, a free way into a product. I think that's expected a lot in a lot of emerging markets, especially as we get deeper into North Africa and some of our big growth areas. We see the need for that. Obviously, we have a challenge. Premier League World Cup's not going to be free anytime soon, I'm afraid. But we are looking at other ways we can adjust our library. So the value of content over time, for instance. So we're not giving away Premier League free, but what about Premier League a couple of days after the event, or maybe the highlights the next day? There are lots of ways of cutting that. I think it's a very active conversation within Todd. I think we're going to do some careful experimentation. I think it's definitely a hybrid approach. If we want to achieve scale, then we're going to have to adjust our offering to accommodate for that. But for a predominantly sports provider at the moment, premium sports, it's difficult to see an immediate shift to freemium. I think we'll have to be quite careful about how we go on that journey.
Well, thank you. And I think if we're talking about AVOD, then this brings you in beautifully, Nisreen, on operating a premium video marketplace. How does the ad-supported ecosystem kind of support the, and what are the biggest opportunities and challenges that you see broadcasters having?
So as I mentioned earlier, as you mentioned, I manage a premium video marketplace. And I look at the trends in the market. And I also look at the digital ad spend. Currently, the digital ad spend, according to the IAB MENA, was in 2024, $6.95 billion US dollars. That's a great amount. But then when you look at where that money is actually going, 90% of that is going on the big tech companies, so social and search. And that money does not get redistributed here back into the economy. So it doesn't get reinvested in content. It doesn't get reinvested within the actual publishers that are coming out of this region. So we're left with $700 million US dollars that gets distributed among publishers like us and also publishing houses and e-commerce platforms. So I wanted to change that, and that's the reason why I launched this marketplace, to help broadcasters transition from this analog state into a more digital state. So I launched the first HbbTV solution here in the market to help broadcasters who don't have the digital facilities to at least monetize their broadcast/broadband feed. And also onboarding them onto our marketplace to help them monetize their digital ad solutions by either helping them add SCTI markers, helping them with their EPG, and distributing those channels onto platforms and helping them monetize those. The latest being helping them distribute those on OEMs. I know that, for example, View are on TCL, for example. So what we're doing today is supporting these broadcasters, helping them either by distributing their actual digital feed or their actual broadcast feed, converting that to a digital feed, and then adding the SCTI markers to do the dynamic ad insertion, or if they have content, whether it's premium or archive, to create fast channels and help them distribute those onto these platforms and monetize on their behalf. So that's basically the area that I am working with to support these local broadcasters, start to capture part of that 700 million. Unfortunately, it's not a big amount. We're hoping that that would grow by providing scale and opportunities for advertisers to now say, all right, I have an alternative other than the current ones that are in the market, and that fragmentation that exists can now sit under one marketplace, and I can now tap into that marketplace without having to reach out to every single one of those broadcasters who might not have enough scale. Now they're under this umbrella. I just plug into that pool, and I monetize, and I basically put my campaigns there and advertise and help advertisers reach the audiences that they want, that are relevant to them. Brand safe is very important. So, as our local publishers, automatically you tick that box. and premium quality content, automatically you tick that box. So then you're away from your ad appearing with unsafe and more relevant content to the advertisers.
Thank you. And Jim, what do you see from your side of the business on scale and monetization? Are you seeing any trends that you want to talk about?
A short answer, yes. What we see primarily on the European side is the confluence of the two, what you both have described, which is the freemium moving into subscription and premium moving into AVOD. And it's a lot of different companies, all with different strategies, all trying to achieve, using every method they possibly can to achieve growth. So it's all the things all at once, depending on the nature of the enterprise. The one thing that I'm very curious to see what happens is with FAST here, because the love affair with FAST has died in Europe, I would say, and I'm curious to see what happens here. A lot of the issues faced in the European countries has been the lack of interest and or the cost for the content provider to create these fast channels. So I'm hopeful that it works, and I'm looking forward to seeing the results next year, hopefully.
Yeah, I was very skeptical at first. In one of my panels, actually, I said FAST is a fad here. However, when you look at FAST, if it's accessible through another application, then it's more, somebody has to turn the TV on, then go look for that application, then go look for that channel to watch it. But now with OEMs, it's the moment you turn on the channel, there are those opportunities. And the difference is what we're doing is not only creating fast channels out of archived inventory. What's happening now is the actual feed itself. So the live broadcast feed, we're converting that so that audiences now can turn on the TV and automatically see the channels that they want. So if they want to watch Rotana Khalijiya, they can turn on TCL and immediately they have that. And that's a way that we can now monetize that content over there. But in addition to that, the perception about FAST globally is that, it's the worst content, it's archived content that nobody wants to see. What we're doing actually is converting the AVOD. Rotana has the largest Arabic library of movies in the world, the largest IP. It owns that IP. And it is the biggest producer, capturing 26%, which is the largest share of production of movies in the Arab world. So we have the opportunity to immediately have that window that's from AVOD to create these fast channels. And whether it's expensive or not, we have White Peak Solution here. Jesse there is over there. I can say hello. They're part of the sponsors. We also have Stefan from Amagi, who also help on the conversion. We have Laurent as well. They do the SSAI. So we have solution providers today who are working with broadcasters to bring down those costs to help those broadcasters. Yes, it would be great if the cost of it is less, but it's one step. And there was an article that I read on one of the largest fast providers. They started off where channels were making $500 a month. Okay, but it did not cover the cost of creating the play out, and doing the SCSI markers, making the EPG, and so on. However, that channel that used to make $500 a month, or now makes $500 every 8 minutes on FAST. So the Omdia report that Tracy was talking about, that Maria had released recently, stated that FAST here in the region is growing from 12 million US dollars, which is still small, but we're still very nascent, in 2024 to 33 million US dollars in 2029. So we are hopeful, but the only way that we can do this is if more broadcasters work with White Peaks, work with Amagi, work with us to monetize. And the other thing is for as well premium providers to look as well at not only the creating fast channels from their older inventory, but also from the newer inventory to keep these audiences more exposed to this content so that they don't have to then go to YouTube. That's the thing that we don't want. I'm happy for them to go to Todd, and I'm happy for them to go to Shahid, and I'm happy for them to go to View, but I don't want them to go to YouTube because that money then doesn't necessarily get redistributed. Yes, some portion of it does, but the bulk of it
70% stays with Google.
It goes out of this region.
Yeah.
And that's where I think we really need to look at ourselves, and broadcasters really, really, really need to look and say, all right, this analog model is on a declining trajectory. Today, I can start by this loss of paying that amount to convert my channel, but I am hoping that in the long run, I can then start capturing a larger share of the ad spend.
I think, sorry to interrupt, I'm very conscious of the time. I think that's all really good points to kind of, it's not just launching fast channels, but also being able to monetize them and for them to, wipe their own face. I think it kind of leads on nicely to one of the things that we're seeing globally, the kind of consolidation of partnerships. I could talk about Paramount and Skydance's merger, but it's a bit of a touchy subject, so I won't. We've seen Warner Brothers recently up for sale, and just last week, Sky and ITV in the UK in talks. There is constant change and evolution in our industry. Bundling, collaborations, partnerships. We saw Abu Dhabi TV and Starzplay last week also launch their collaboration. Do you think there's a move away from standalone OTT kind of platforms? And do people need to be partnering with established broadcasters, studios, tech partners? Ahmed, what do you believe bundles are the future? Do you see closer collaborations or even integration?
I think streaming is a very difficult business model, generally speaking, and this whole consolidation move around the globe is not, a lot of players are not able to find their path, especially with big giants that are taking over. And I think that will not just help in consolidation, but also partnerships. So the partnerships could be through bundling as one of the approaches, but there are many other approaches where people can actually partner. For example, on our side, we host all the SBA content on Shahid. So all the Saudi broadcast TV content is actually on Shahid. We partner with many other broadcasters, content creators, studios to host their content on Shahid for a revenue share model, for example. It's one of the models that we've launched successfully a few years ago, and it's actually growing year over year. So bundling is going to make sense as the ARPUs goes up and the cost of subscription goes up. So it becomes more interesting for users to actually buy packs that could give them access to multiple services. But in return, it has to score on stuff like retention, longer CLVs, so it becomes worthy for the services. But I think it's not just about bundling, because bundling is important. We see things happening. Consolidation is happening as services in totality, not in like just joint bundles is what we see. But again, the market will continue to consolidate. So less and less services will exist. And then will be very few players that are going to survive this. And actually they become the place to go to. And they become the host or maybe the kind of aggregator, I would say, whether it's bundling or content. That's how I see it going.
Okay. And James, how about you from a bundling or kind of collaboration in the market?
So I think we've stopped short of sort of hard integrating with our other partners today. I think we do aggregate content. We have like a Paramount partnership, as many do, and we even smaller providers, even local, such as Doha Film Institute and things have provided us assets that we can push out. So I think certainly we see ourselves working in that space more and more. I think the reality is a lot of our growth is through operators, again, looking to those growth markets, North Africa, big markets in Iraq, Morocco, these kind of countries. We are going to end up being bundled with other services. I mean, that's part of it. And so we're certainly not against that. For operators to work with us, they're going to want to be able to manage their customer offering in that way. So certainly that will continue, and we will fight for our share of that cash. But yes, I don't know about the smaller producers. I think we would like to work with more of them and act more in that kind of aggregated fashion. We want to build a product which is capable of adapting to that over time. But yeah, as of today, it's a journey at the moment.
Thank you. I think we can't talk about digital powerhouses without touching at least on AI. We know it's involved in every panel discussion, and I'm sure our audience are super interested. I put it out to the group, if anyone wants to talk. AI is moving from a nice to have to kind of critical infrastructure in the services that you deliver. Whether it's metadata enrichment, whether it's compliance monitoring, and I mean, awkwardly say, possible editorial decision making. To what extent are you using AI to kind of personalize, maybe beyond language or localization, but how are you implementing it in your powerhouses or day-to-day actions?
So it's like you said, it's more than a buzzword now. It provides an extension to what a lot of providers, a lot of companies, a lot of industries have been doing for some time around using data and personalization and machine learning. It's enabling us at the moment and coming into next year to integrate much bigger data sets faster, rather than just looking at a consumption pattern or a usage pattern. We can pull in vast sets of CDN logs and look really at the quality people are providing and what the knock-on impact of those actions and reactions are. It enables us to much more quickly segment a base. So using a feature a lot for one user might be a very different trigger to another user cohort. And doing that segmentation in real time and much faster is obviously going to play into how we work with customers. You can't ignore the localization. I think one of the most immediate and most tangible use cases is on the front end, communicating with users. Again, coming back to the regional differences, we have a marketing message or a retention message that would have gone in Arabic. Maybe it's a dialect of Arabic. Maybe it's containing a different image of a different actor within an asset and so on. I mean, I still think there's a lot of untapped resource, certainly for us. I mean, certain players are doing that very well that we look at. But it's not going away. I think we have to be ready to adapt it. It's moving so fast that it's almost hard to keep up. So I think one of the biggest challenges we've had from a product roadmap or from a technology standpoint is kind of drawing a line in the sand and saying, giving yourself a tangible goal to move at rather than constantly try and keep up with developments in the models and the capabilities that are out there, because otherwise you end up doing nothing. So we're trying to put some real sort of tangible benchmarks over the next 12 months, not just for Todd, but actually for the company as a whole. And I think we'll see that through the way we really break our base down and try and react in more real time with very hyper-personalized messages and content.
So, I mean, on our side, we invested a long time ago in data first, before AI becomes what we hear of it today. I mean, I think we reached a point where we process about like 7 terabytes of data a day, something like this now with Shahid. And it just powers everything that we do. So a lot of the decisions are informed with data. It kind of touches on the user experience. So our recommendation engines are powered by data that we collect on a daily basis, down to the precise profile of interests and so on and so forth. I don't think we're going to reach a place where it's fully powering Shahid yet, right? So I think there's a lot of editorial decisions that are still being done with humans about pushing what content to what audience. But there's certain levels of usage there. So we use segmentation instead of AI, or just we use big data to be able to target the right audiences. The other deployment that we have, which we're actually now really focusing on the localization side, is if you look at Shahad, it has a very unique position of being an Arab service, so we are actually global. So we don't have limitations on our content rights, so we're actually available worldwide. And we've been expanding globally for the past 2 years across different markets for Arab diaspora and people that are interested culturally in this region. So today, AI actually subtitles our content into 32 languages, for example, is one of the things that we're looking at. And we're trying to look into that advancement now with dubbing. And I think there's a lot of promise in that side. So if you want to localize content, I think dubbing is on the verge of breaking out to become like fully subsidized by AI. We've been testing with a lot of things for the past couple of years. So I think we're planning next year to start actually pushing out content that is actually dubbed by AI in different languages, and mostly focus on foreign languages. We think the Arabic language still has some time to go. We see the advances. We actually work with every person that you could hear of in that space. So from Google to smaller players that are advancing this to OpenAI to everyone. So we're trying to actually scale with AI, and that's kind of the job that we're trying to achieve for it. So last year it was all about hyper targeting and how you go on profile. Now actually we're using it to scale to newer audiences and reaching new regions of data. So I think being open to that is not an option anymore. I think if you want to scale, you have to actually look into efficiencies, and AI delivers a lot of that.
It's a big question. Is editorial integrity and human touch versus scalability and really delivering to the customers that you're looking to. Salma, do you want to?
Yes. So for us, we also as OTT player, for sure, we gather a lot of data. And for us, what's important, data is driving actually is our backbone for any decision making. And AI, which is coming, some people see it as a disrupting, I would say, technology. Of course, it's disrupting, depends how you look at it. But for us, it's a layer that will help us. And they started to help us, actually. This is where we started to embed AI in our content discovery, for sure. This is one big reason for churn, actually, content discovery that we are seeing. So we're leveraging on this to really push or push our content, our new releases, our tentpole. Segmentation is very important. To Ahmed's point as well, we use a lot in terms of understanding the churn behavior, in terms of predicting churn as well. What's important for us is sub-segmenting. So we have a lot of clusters with segments from the data that we have, and the AI layer help us accelerate, I would say, real time as well. This segmentation that helps us a lot in our day-to-day retention on the operational level. So yeah, AI is here. We are only scratching the surface. In general, we are building more and more in the coming. We'll make it, for the coming period, part of our core strategy, whether to enhance our even as a monetization, right? So it's helping us in our monetization, in our retention, and it's also optimizing our cost and efficiency.
Thank you. I cannot believe, looking at the clock, we're done. The time is ticking. I feel like we've just got started, but can I just do one final parting one or two words from all of you on what's your number one priority for the next 12 months? Like, what's keeping you awake at night? What are you most invested or excited about? If you could just give that takeaway to the audience before we get shooed off stage.
Yeah, I can start with that for sure. For me, it's about creating partnerships. So I am today working with a lot of the publishers, even those here on this panel, with their commercial arms to try to create some form of a publisher alliance and a publisher alliance that will allow us today to make sure that we have a standardized floor price so that we don't cannibalize, and then we can also ensure that the value is not ruined because of agencies saying that they want to drive lower CPMs. This has been, I'm not being naive about this, the fact that you want to work with other publishers or other partners. There is a successful case study that has happened in the UK. It's called Thinkbox. It's a venture, it's a joint partnership between Sky, Channel 4 and ITV, where they have created this product that does the standardization of the pricing, that does benchmarking, and that does promote the value of TV to advertisers. So what keeps me awake is when I go to agencies and clients asking for them to invest in the publishers that we have, and they say, but this publisher is charging us this much, and then if you give it to me for less, and so I don't want to get into that price war. So for me, what keeps me awake is this price war and trying to get this alliance to take shape.
So establishing partnerships. Thank you.
Correct.
Jim?
You said 2 words, so
A few.
I'll cut it down to 3. World Cup piracy.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, taking sort of subscriber growth and the normal sort of challenges of a business out, we've got a big year coming up next year, World Cup, Asian Games, AFCON, and all the other tournaments alongside that. On top of that, we're really having a drive towards improving the overall quality of content coming in, and that's not just for Todd, that's at a sort of group level. We're moving a lot of our delivery and contribution to IP, and the end result of that is lower latency, higher quality, but we've got to do it in a way that is simple for users. We've had a lot of success in the last years about bringing those kind of features and those qualities to customers, but we've not managed to do it in a way where everyone can get hold of that in Arabic, with an Arabic studio, for instance. So I'm looking forward to bringing all that together and trying to provide a really simple way to get the highest quality sport, especially for those tentpole tournaments, which only come around every 4 years. I joined beIN 4 years ago for the first World Cup. We've been working towards this one for 4 years. I don't want to have to work for another 4 years to see that come to light.
Thank you. Sama?
Yes. Basically, we started by saying streaming 2.0. It's all about disruption. It's all about change in even the economical model. The value model is changing, right? For us in the media industry overall, right? So basically, we need to be always proactively disrupting ourselves. Otherwise, we'll be disrupted. So one big thing we're looking at, and one big thing that we are really proactively working on, is to increase our, not only defend our turf, that's not the, actually we want to increase meaningful monetization for us by, for example, I mean, creatively today, some of the value share is going to social media. We want to be part of this. One big behavior is the consumption of vertical videos on social media, which is taking us to the micro drama, which I would not, I think this needs a totally different topic, a big topic, but this is something that we are considering as well, to proactively bring to this part of the world so that we can really keep the, I'm not saying competing with social media, not at all, but actually go where the behavior of our users are and bring them to our, bringing them to our platform, scaling them and retaining them. Of course, there are other as well part of our strategy, but I will stick to this for now, conscious of time.
And closing from you, Ahmed.
I'll try to be quick. So I think for us, Ramadan is a big season, so it's the Super Bowl starting in a few months, and that's kind of what's now keeping us up at night. So we were in full throttle preparing for the next best content coming. So we throw about like, I think 60, 70 dramas in one go for a month for this, for the whole world to enjoy content. So that's one big topic. And the other thing is, we're looking at how we can expand into more markets, how we can expand the footprint of Shahid, how we can actually reach more new audiences, how we can take this content to, or build appeal for it beyond this region as well. So there's many other stuff that we're keen about to work on for the next 12 months. Thank you.
Thank you all so much.